What's up, YouTube? Welcome. ItrainLionTV. As always, I'm ItrainLion and this is
Mufasa. Welcome to our very first interview on the ItrainLionTV. We went to go see Marc Lobliner, our first guest. Before we actually go into this, I want to explain to you what the goal is with our ItrainLion tour, and ItrainLion can get us started off.
So basically, what we're doing with the tour is we're visiting top training studios, and we're trying to meet with the top fitness professionals in the game right now. The movers, the shakers, the people that got you doing workouts you thought you'd never do, bringing out top supplements. As you know, MT is the #1 supplement in the game. So we want to interview them, ask the hard questions, ask stuff that they wouldn't really talk about on their YouTube channels if they have them.
So we would basically want to go more than just lifting, more than just going into the gym. And you'll see with our first interview, when we hung out with Marc Lobliner and his family, he is very family oriented.
Yeah.
He's big on family, and for those of you that watch his YouTube channel and see him lifting and all that side, there's a total different side to this guy. We were honored enough to be able to stay with him and his family for 3 days. They kept us in his house, took us to dinner. We went to recitals, we went to soccer games, we went to dinner together, and it's just an all-around good feel, and I hope you guys get to see that side of Marc during our interview.
Yeah, so we're just gonna let the tape roll. Here we go.
Well, now do enjoy us with Marc Lobliner. As always, I am Mufasa. He is
ItrainLion.
Peace.
Peace.
So, thank you so much for having us, and we really appreciate you coming on ItrainTV.
Yeah.
You're the first celebrity. For us,
Celebrity.
For us, no. You're the first.
You guys are setting the bar real low.
No.
Hey, we gotta start somewhere, right?
You gotta stop somewhere, right?
It was me or Screech from Saved by the Bell.
I know, Screech didn't go back.
And he went to jail or something, didn't he? He was tax evasion.
Yeah, this was option number 2.
Screech is hard up.
He is.
Screech is right up there with Petey Pablo.
He's a G, man. Screech is a G.
Man, I don't know if the millennial Petey Pablo is saying North Carolina, come on and raise up.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this?
We just had
MTS Clash. I didn't know how this got here.
we just sit down on the couch. Just
Man.
And it pops out of nowhere.
When you tried this, it was, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I stay pumped during videos. I just kick this out.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so what's going on, man? We're on your channel.
You're on our channel. We're going to ask you a bunch of questions.
I saw your security code, by the way. I know exactly how to
No,
get
it doesn't matter if you know the security code.
That's
So you ready for these questions?
I'll be hitting the girls on the DM.
Alright, get ready. It's going down in the DM, and it's going down here
So,
with Marc.
our first question, seeing as though you're a bodybuilder, everybody has what they call their weakest body part. For you, what would you say is your weakness? Like, if you looked at yourself, you're like, that's my weakest body part.
Biceps, calves, and tan.
No, pick one. You're going to have to pick one.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Dexter Jackson won the Olympia without calves.
Okay.
I mean, he has the calves. I love Dexter to death, but he has the calves. My 9-year-old daughter's calves are double the size of his. My biceps and my whole arm, my tricep insertions, they look good, but it's where it inserts. That's my worst body part, my arms in general, but my triceps mainly. I make up for it in vascularity, but that's it.
Okay, that works. Of all of the people you've met in terms of fitness and just social media, who by far would you were like starstruck and you were like, hi?
In fitness?
Yeah, fitness.
There's only one time, and I've trained with Dorian, Ronnie, and every notable. I've known them. Arnold used to work out of my office when I was at Weeder. Never got starstruck. One time, because I was such a fan of his versatility and strength, when I met Mark Henry when I was 22 years old. You know Mark Henry, the world's strongest man.
Yeah.
And I shook his hand, and his hand, the thickness of his hand, I don't know if it's still like this. He's been out of the game for a little bit. His hand had to be this thick. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I'm not a fanboy. I'm not going to ask for an autograph or anything. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm at a trade show, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say hi. It wasn't even like an industry trade show. And I'm like, I never go up to people. Yeah. That was the one guy I'm like, you know what? I admire what you do. Shook his hand. That's all I could say because that was the first time in my life I was at a loss for words. Mark Henry. Wow. Yeah. And also we had a thing in college. I want to give a shout out to my 2 roommates, Brett Rumbeck and Ben Merlot. Yeah. We never locked our door because we were hoping girls would come over. We're still waiting.
That door's still open.
Door's still open. Ladies, door's still open.
Every morning, Ben Merlo at California Lutheran University would come in, and all of a sudden you'd be sleeping here. Good God, it's Mark Henry. Mark Henry splashed us awake. So I just had to meet the man who had tormented me due to his Mark Henry splash. So that was the only time I've been completely flabbergasted when I met somebody.
Okay. If you weren't doing this, so if you weren't doing Tiger Fitness, if you weren't doing MTS, what would you be doing? It cannot be fitness related. If today life totally changed and you couldn't be a part of this industry, what would you be doing?
Well, if I went what I made the most money at, it was publishing. I've still yet to equal my financial earnings of 2003, which is when I worked for American Media, which owns the Inquirer, the Star, and Country Weekly, as well as the Weeder publications. Muscle Fitness Hers, Men's Fitness. That was my best year ever.
Not many people know that you were with Muscle and Fitness.
I was really good at what I did, and I think just business in general. The thing about the fitness industry and niche industry in general, and any industry, is business practice is business practice. I could take the concepts I've utilized, which you guys just see a guy screaming at a YouTube camera. What you don't see, what you guys have a chance to see, is I own 13 businesses. You know, so there's a lot that I'm not going to tell you about, but there's a lot that comes with business, that practices that work for one will work for another, as long as you can identify and work within that niche. So I can't take niche things from this industry, put it in this industry. However, I can take business practices and learn about that niche and put it over here. So I think if I wouldn't have been doing this, publishing, even though the magazine industry is delicate due to the basically the taking off of the internet and of internet marketing, there's still a mix in there for publishing. And I think I would have done really well as a publisher.
For people that want to blow up in social media, because that's what everybody wants to do. Everybody's on YouTube. Everybody's on Instagram. They just want to blow up on social media. What one rule would you give to somebody that's trying to make it in social media?
The right way.
The right way.
Inject a lot of synthol. Honestly, the only thing I'll say is business. Think of it as business. The one thing I lecture on in any of my university lectures, or even if you look at the lecture I did at the IRCE, the Internet Retail Convention, which is the largest internet retail convention in the world, internet convention period. I mean, you got people from NetSuite to Google there. You know, you need to have two things. So I know business is the one rule, but there's two things in business, and that's positioning and differentiation. Find a position for your channel or for your media outlet. Like, for example, Hodge twins are funny. You know, Rich Piana is real. Because he tells you about his cycles and all that. Chris Jones is kind of more of the real, but Chris Jones is your everyday kind of dude. You know, he just says it like it is. You know, me, I'm the family guy. I'm the conservative family guy.
And we've learned that you're the family guy.
I am.
Because from what I used to see on, YouTube, and then now staying with you 3 days in your house. Thank you for you and Katie.
No worries.
Being with your family. Like, that's the biggest thing for me, because I had another sponsor before we became Militia, and you're family oriented. That's crazy, because
that's life.
Not many people get to see that you're a real person, and speaking of Katie, one time you wore a bandana, okay, and she said you look like what?
I look like the gay cheerleaders from Longest Yard. I thought I looked like Tupac. But the other thing is differentiation. How's your channel different from everyone else's? So that's the thing. I mean, nobody wants to see. Nobody else can be Chris Jones. Nobody else can be the Hodge twins. No one else can be Rich Piana. No one else can be Marc Lobliner. You have to find your own position. Don't say, how do I become like you? Say, how do I become like me? And forge my own niche within that. You guys have a great angle here. I mean, you both came. See, my mom came to this country. You know, and so I know what she went through to get here. So I think Americans, there's no better American story than someone who realizes the American dream. You know what I mean? And my family, even though my mom didn't realize it as a first-generation American, that I'm living the American dream. It took 2 generations. You will be able to do it your first generation. You know, so that's something you said. The American dream's still alive and well. And I think the fact that you don't even have to say it, but people are going to see that you guys are the American dream. You are.
Thank you.
That's what it's all about.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. By the way, American Apple Pie MTS Way is available.
The best
You should have it.
flavor ever.
The other rule is always be closing.
Oh,
At all times.
at all times. You know,
So-
it's not like, you know.
I don't know. We'll go on
yeah.
mine.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Grab some.
Yeah. That's
All right. What else we got?
So fans, you know, we've been around you.
We've seen
hanging
the
out with you.
craziness.
Okay, we've done the craziness. Now, for those of you at home, like I think you don't really understand because we're used to just working out, and the moment we worked out with you, people just started staring.
Things stopped.
Everything stops, and
People came around.
You were doing shoulder presses. Okay, it's not like you were doing anything crazy. OHP. That's what you were doing.
Yeah.
And the whole gym stopped, and everybody. How do you get used to that? Like.
You don't. I think some people relish in that. I'm not. I mean, ego's not my strength. You need a healthy ego when you do anything, running anything. You need a healthy ego. I'm not saying ego is bad when it starts to interfere in your decisions.
Yeah.
When your ego gets too large for yourself. I don't think I will ever truly get used to people wanting to take a picture with me, and I don't want to get used to it because then you take it for granted. You think that you're doing them a favor. The person doing you a favor is the person who actually knows you exist. That means you've done something. You know, if somebody actually thinks this guy's cool enough to take a picture with, that's actually quite an honor.
It is.
So I think that a lot of, especially people who get Instagram or YouTube famous, and honestly, you know, this isn't my career, but people know me from YouTube, so you can say I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't know who the hell I am had it not been for YouTube. A lot of these people.
Great.
They get this false sense of celebrity. You know what celebrity is? It's Brad Pitt. It's George Clooney. It's real celebrities. You're just, I'm sorry, I don't know if your channel, this shouldn't be a bad word. You're just a douchebag with an iPhone and the ability to upload a video. You're not famous. Even if you hit 1 million people, that's nothing. How many friggin' Star Wars tickets were sold the first weekend? You're a nobody. At the end of the day, if you're famous because of YouTube or the gram, you're famous within a niche.
Yeah.
You're Instagram famous.
Yeah.
And I'm not famous. I just happen to, for some reason, people see me in the niche and they're like, oh, I want to get a picture with him to put on their
But I mean,
social media.
it's for the fitness bubble though.
Yeah,
I totally get what
that's
you're
what
saying.
it is,
In the fitness bubble.
But you're in the grand scheme of the world, you know, you got all this bad stuff going on and it's like you got all this really good stuff and you're just a tiny piece of the puzzle of popularity. So once you kind of can ingrain that just because you have 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, it doesn't mean you're famous or you're special. You just happen to be willing to put it out there. For some reason, people want to watch it.
Yeah.
And that's good. But don't for 1 second think you're better than anybody else. Because as a man of faith, at least some faith, we're all created equal, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing that makes me more special than anyone else. The only thing is I'm willing to put in more work than a lot of people. You know, that's about it. That's what separates usually the successful from the non-successful is work. You look at athletics, we went to a soccer game this morning, you know, I'm there warming up my kids. You know, every other dad's just sitting there
and
drinking coffee.
And there's a reason why my kid scored a goal today. Because I warmed him up.
Yeah.
It's just simple. Work equals success. Usually. There's always the pink unicorn.
Yeah.
The crazy hot matrix.
Yeah.
Always the pink unicorn. But that's my opinion.
Talking about work, Mark, tell us what you think the average person who goes to the gym, who tries every day, how hard do they have to work to understand, to get to a point where they're seeing real results, to get to a point where they're actually at a place where they're seeing growth?
I used to think that diet was the main determinant in results. Until I trained with Dorian, until I trained with Kai, and until I trained with Mike and those guys. And normally if you watch people train at LA Fitness or even at Ironclad you get some really good training people, you know. People really don't push it. And I think even if you look at the Olympia level, the people who actually win a lot of Olympias, like Dexter's not known for his training intensity, but hell, he won an Olympia, and that was a lot of genetics. And he's been going at it so long. It's just a build-up effect. You look at like Ronnie, and you look at Dorian, you look at those physiques that are just breathtaking. And the difference between them and and even in the natural world, I know you're going to get a lot of dislikes if I'm saying this, but Doug Miller trains like a friggin' animal. You look at Mike Rashid, who trains like an animal. You look at their physiques, and not even the size mainly, but look at the quality of their muscle.
Yeah.
And look at what they bring. I think in any sport, it's hours practice and intensity. And even if you look at soccer players or basketball players, the elite of the elite, your Jerry Rices, who, you know, built up his hand strength by, you know, you know, basically being a bricklayer with his dad.
Yeah.
You look at Wes Welker taking 2 hours worth of passes before practice even starts every day at 5 a.m. That's what separates the champions. That's what does it. So if you go to the gym and you're not getting results, if you train with me, generally I'm going to bury you. If you're not getting results, it has to do with diet. It also has to do with the fact you're not training like you need results.
Yeah.
You need a progressive overload and you need to stimulate, and honestly, it's going to be uncomfortable.
So let's talk training. Currently, what is I come from physique. We both do physique. You know, I mean, Mankini, as you like to call it.
I'm good.
First day we came to Chicago, straight off the plane. We went in with you on your program. We did deadlifts. Explain to me like the new way that you're training right now.
Well, I'm getting older, and a lot of times people get older, they say, I'm going to stop doing squats, I'm going to do all leg press and do all this. I have the fortune of being surrounded by great strength coaches, great movement specialists, like Dr. Stu, like even Andrew you met yesterday, works with Dr. Stu.
Yeah.
What I've learned, and I've had back pain, and I've gone off squats for 2 years straight, my back pain never went away. If you look at the movement and what you're doing, your movement patterns, when you go, hell, Zimbabwe, if you're in the bushes, which they call in Australia, I don't know what the fuck they call in Zimbabwe, but when you take a shit, you squat. If you have to pick something up, you don't bend over, you squat down and pick it up.
Correct.
That's a primal movement. You know, you don't sit down to pick something up and build something. You know, if you're going to pick something up, you pick it up. Those are primal movements. That's why I focus my workouts, while I still do some bodybuilding isolation movements. Since I've done I call it VPO training, and it took me 2 months of trying stuff out. It originally had bench press, but I'm like, okay, primarily speaking, when do we actually bench press? When we're getting attacked by a bear, but we're dead anyway by the time that's done.
Trying to push it off, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, an overhead press would be more of a problem movement. So I still do chest movements with dumbbells, but what I've found by taking out leg press and things that are, leg press is extremely harsh on your hips and your joints. Extremely horrible for your body. I know people are going to argue. Don't argue, just don't do it if you don't like it, you know? But since this is my personal testimonial, and I'm not selling this program, it's available for free on the content site of Tiger Fitness. So I have no skin in this game.
Tiger Fitness, no skin at all in the game.
But it's basically, it's built around squats on one day, deadlifts on the next day, and overhead press on the next day for 10 sets of 5. And I chose 5 because since it's such a compound movement, when I get over the 5 rep range, and again, this is my personal, when I design a program, I test it personally. That's what I personally found. You might be different. After about 5 reps, my form starts to break down. That's why I chose 10 sets of 5. You're still getting the volume, but you're keeping your form in check. So that's my training. It's gone more primitive. I think my physique looks a lot better. And and who cares? I can walk and I can play with my kids. There's no back pain whatsoever. I also don't use a chair in my office anymore. I use an exercise ball.
Standing.
And I stand and work a lot of the time. I've changed.
And
changed man, people.
Yeah,
changed
that's right.
man. So not your personal training, but in terms of training clients, we heard yesterday that you're not on top of your game. Somebody said they train 75 clients.
Massive numbers.
And that's a massive number of clients. I mean, how do you
handle that?
How do you feel
about not having 75 clients?
Yeah, not having 75 clients.
Well, I'm going to address that. Basically, we went up to a local trainer. He's like, first thing he told me is he has 75 clients. I'm like, okay. Generally,
no hello.
If someone starts out with a bragging point, it generally isn't going to be a good conversation. So rather than whipping my dick out and slapping him with it, I just like, awesome, man. Well, I'll see you around. Generally speaking, I mean, you guys will get this, but when especially, we're at an event and my picture was the event. So immediately some guys with egos and lower self-esteem will try to cockfight you. But I don't.
Try to be an alpha.
I just don't. There's nothing alpha about engaging in that kind of situation.
Beta.
It's beta. So I just walked away and we went and got food.
You're a good man.
I appreciate that.
You're a good man.
I'm usually not good at walking away from conflict, as everybody knows online, but I did this time.
If you could take one of your supplements, just one, okay?
The number one.
One as in from now till the day you die, you're only allowed to take one MTS product. what product would it be and why?
Not even machine greens and multi. Because you're getting your multi in there, you're getting your greens, it's health. I can get protein from food. I can even get, I can also get the veggie nutrients in there, but it has full probiotics, such a concentrated form of veggies. Creatine comes in beef. I know I don't eat beef, but I get it from beef.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that I would battle with is branched chains.
Okay.
Because I like machine fuel. I don't think you get the benefits from eating whole proteins as you can from BCA during training.
Okay.
But if I had to choose just one, it'd be machine greens and multi.
Okay.
By far, that's it. That's an easy choice because it's health.
Good.
Good man.
That'd be my choice.
I think one more question.
One more question.
In your whole entire life, what are you the most proud of?
Children.
There you go.
That's really, there's no question about it. I mean, at the end of the day, the intra-workout category is there because I got in my car and told everybody about it. You know, I've done some really cool things, but to be able to take 3 individuals and mold them into contributing and potentially, you know, people who can change the world, I think that's such a responsibility, even though I'm still in the process of doing that. Just seeing them grow every day and what, I mean, you've been with them for a few days and what Cammy's becoming and Thomas and Preston.
Amazing family. Amazing family.
Preston's only he's gonna be 3 next week. But
crazy man, Preston.
But I mean, every day you wake up and see, the thing is, children give you motivation to do excellent things. Like Hewlett Packard, they actually used to encourage their employees to date and get married because they found that people who are involved in a family are more committed to work. Well, because they kind of have to be, because you lose your job, you're almost starving.
Yeah.
That was that's looking at it from kind of the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
What I noticed when I had children, I stopped living life I didn't live life necessarily for my own accomplishments.
Okay.
I started living life in fear. And I know that sounds
I know exactly
terrible,
what you mean.
but when you live life in fear, you end up making some really epic decisions. Because every day you know that if you mess up or you don't make a right move or you don't do this right, that you lose your kid's lifestyle. That I can't afford to put my kids in travel soccer anymore. That I can't afford to buy my kids, you know, things that'll make them better in life. And my kids aren't flossing in designer clothes. They buy their clothes at Target, and my daughter gets Justice when there's coupons, like everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't want them to sacrifice their lifestyle due to me being shitty at business. So I make sure that I go 120 every day so they can live a 120 lifestyle. And I don't want to be spoiled. They need to fend for themselves. They need to learn. They need to have fight or flight. We're not going to give them anything. But I want to make sure that should they hit hard times in the future, they don't have to go like me. There's no safety net. If I fall off that tightrope, I'm dead. I have nobody. I have nobody who has my back. I want them to know that they better not fall.
Yep.
But if they do, they're not dead. So I live life in fear. I love living life in fear.
Good man.
You're always running. It's like you're getting chased by a damn lion.
Lions!
Everybody, you thought you knew everything about the machine. This is straight to the cut. I am Mufasa. He is Green Lion.
This is Marc Lobliner, the machine.
All right, because well, having your channel taken over.
Hot game.
So that was our interview with Marc Lobliner. We really hope you enjoyed it. We're about to get our workout in. What you got here, Wayne Line?
You know me. I always got that machine fuel intra workout. No matter what I'm doing, whether it's my cardio, machine fuel, branch chain, amino acids, got that going on.
Thank you, boss. I'm about to get mine on, about to get this workout on. As always, I am Green Lion.
And I am Mufasa. We hope that you loved our first interview. Please leave comments. Let us know who you'd like to see next, who you want us to interview.
Give us questions to ask.
A lot of exciting things coming up. For those of you that are going to be at the Arnold, that is going to be our next appearance at the MTS booth at the Arnold Classic. Come find us. Peace.
Peace.